even though he's not sure whether or not Nalra has gone for Dark Templar or whether or not Nalra has gone for Reavers at this stage, because his probe was taken out by Nalra. And Nalra now is building a few High Templar, trying to take advantage of the fact that he did build that Templar Archives, trying to build the high-tech units to try and counter C's economic advantage when the battle comes. But C has got that... C has got his robotics facility and his robotic support pay up, so we can expect Reavers from C very, very soon. And really, in Protoss versus Protoss games, Reavers tend to be kings. It's very rare you see a player without Reavers winning against a player with Reavers. And it looks like C is ready to attack. It looks like C is ready to go for the jugular here. It looks like C has decided that he has solidified his economic advantage enough to translate it into a military maneuver, and C is now moving down the middle, moving up the middle lane towards Nalra's base, and he's also going in with a drop, so he's probably got a Reaver in that shuttle there, and he's going in behind Nalra's mineral line, and this is going to be absolutely brilliant from C, because he is dropping behind Nalra's mineral line, and a Scarab goes off, the Reaver fires, and about 10 probes, 15 probes just got taken out, I think, by that Reaver Scarab. Nalra just losing a whole bunch of probes, and is in a whole world of pain from that attack, and an absolutely genius maneuver by Sea.Pure. He knocked on Nalra's front door with those Dragoons and the Zealot, forcing Nalra to use up his storms, and then he dropped the Reaver behind the main, behind the line of minerals simultaneously in Nalra's Expo at the middle lane, and Nalra, completely taken unawares by that pincering maneuver, has found all of his probes at the expansion killed. He must have had about 10 or 15 probes there, and they all got destroyed, and Nalra now is behind, and CU has to feel has taken a decisive advantage with that. Any hope that Nalra had of resurrecting his game by putting those two Nexuses up, by trying to macro very, very heavily his economy, have been ground into dust by that attack from C, and C unfortunately has lost that Reaver, so Nalra might be able to retake that middle expansion, which is exactly what he needs to do, but I don't know how he's going to replace the loss of all of those probes against C from that attack, and Nalra forcing C's forces back just by virtue of that Dark Templar, because C does not have any observers there, so Nalra able to force C's forces back. C now with another drop with his Reaver. I don't know how he's aware of Nalra's expansion just south of his main. He certainly didn't look to have scouted it, but he seems to be aware, and we're just switching here to the first person view mode of C, and you can see on this that C does not know that Nalra has an expansion there, so C is going to be very fortuitous. I think he was going for a drop on Nalra's main with that Reaver, trying to hurt his economy further, but he's actually found that expansion, and Nalra is going to find himself spread very thin trying to defend both bases, and C very wisely moving that shuttle out before Nalra's Dragoons move in to intercept it. And looks like C is going in for another attack, and this time he does have an observer, so that Dark Templar is not going to be enough to hold him. C's got a Citadel of Adon up as well, and Templar Archives coming, so he's going to be having Speed Lance and Dark Templar very, very soon. And Nalra is going to find himself overwhelmed. Nalra has sustained too much damage in terms of his economy, an economy that was already far behind C's, and now is really miles behind C, and C's got Reavers, and Nalra has nothing to counter that Reaver. Nalra does have High Templar, but that's not going to be enough to counter C's Reaver, and C again, realizing that Nalra is going to try and use storms against his Reaver, puts a Dragoon out in front to force Nalra's High Templar back, and therefore uses Reaver, and Nalra is now going to lose his middle expansion. There's nothing he can do to save it, and you have to feel that that is the final nail in the coffin for Nalra in this game. You have to feel that Nalra is not really going to be able to come back from that, and I guess that, you know, you can say that this was a product. Nalra now microing brilliantly. C now microing his units so well. Nalra micros his units brilliantly backwards to try and avoid that Reaver Scarab hit. And Nalra, with an excellent storm, takes out the Reaver, and not only the Reaver, but he also took out the shuttle that was protecting the Reaver from a single storm, and that was absolutely brilliant by Nalra. Nalra fighting with only a skeleton crew with a handful of units and still managed to inflict serious damage on C, and the fact that he's taken C's Reaver out is going to give him some hope. Another storm goes off. C not really microing well. He's allowing his units to sit under those storms for some time. He doesn't have Templar of his own yet, at least not High Templar, and that is allowing Nalra to stay in this game, that high tech that he went for. But despite those storms, C just has too many units, just has too much of an economic advantage versus Nalra, and now Nalra left with nothing, while C has 5 Dragoons, and he's moving into Nalra's expansion at the south, already having taken care of Nalra's expansion in the middle lane, and Nalra only has a couple of cannons up to defend here. Nalra forced to fight with probes. Those cannons have been taken out, those Dragoons are positioned outside the range of the cannons, and C has got reinforcements arriving, so Nalra really in all sorts of trouble, in all sorts of hurt, and I don't know what Nalra can do to come back in this game now. I don't think he can come back in this game, and you have to feel that Nalra's recent losses and a shake of the fist from the Pantex team, and they know that victory is in sight. They can feel it. They can feel an ace match coming on, and they can feel resurgent hope for victory in this matchup versus KTF. After all, you've got to feel that Nalra was low on confidence going into this matchup, and the recent games that he has had, that he has lost in, have affected his gameplay, and this is very, very bad for Nalra. I just hope that he can recover from this loss enough in time to regain his confidence, to be able to play the kind of StarCraft that we know and love him for in the MSL matchup tomorrow. At the same time though, I wouldn't really bash Nalra too much. I know I've been very, very critical of Nalra and of his confidence in this matchup, but you have to say that Nalra hasn't played particularly badly. Okay, he did lose out because of a choice in build order, and that is neither here nor there. That is neither hit nor miss. But the fact is that Nalra has microed his scant resources very, very well, and you can't take anything away from C. Blaming this loss on Nalra is disingenuous, because it takes away from the fact that C has played very, very well, and C has played a very intelligent game. He has taken advantage of the map. He chose the best strategy for the map in a Protoss versus Protoss game. Excuse me, even if Nalra had proxied, C would have been able to hold him off with probes, assuming that he scouted his main area correctly. So C did go for a good strategy. He executed it perfectly, and he did do some brilliant tactical maneuvers in going for that double attack at Nalra's middle base, and C really doing everything right to win this game. So while you have to feel bad for Nalra, you cannot take away the credit from C for having played really, really well. And once again, Nalra demonstrating his prowess. Nalra taking out that Dark Templar just by virtue of storms. It was a Dark Templar that he could not see because he does not have observers, and he still managed to kill that Dark Templar with storms versus High Templar. So it just goes to show that Nalra has not lost his skills, is not weak, is not rusty. He's just had a run of bad luck and perhaps a slump in his confidence that has affected his gameplay. And C now should be able to close out this game. Nalra realizes that he's lost. He realizes there is no way back for him. He lost 5 minutes ago. In reality, you could probably argue that he lost the game the moment he went for that Dark Templar rush, which did absolutely no damage to C's economy, and the fact that C went for that fast expansion, and that was the advantage that C has been able to press home. All credit to C for playing very, very well and providing us with an entertaining matchup. I do feel very, very sorry for Nalra, and you can just see the final nail in the coffin for Nalra right now. C just taking down that expansion to the south of Nalra's base, killing off the last remnants of hope of Nalra, and the KTF coach is bound to be a little bit aggrieved from this performance by Nalra, but as I said, you can't really fault him too much. MontyHall, I believe, is almost as much to blame as much as Nalra's choice of build orders, and the fact that Nalra has had to play a lot of Terran versus Protoss versus Terran, Protoss versus Zerg, means that he hasn't had probably as much time as Sea.Pure to practice for this game, has probably played a part in deciding this matchup. This is Klazart. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed that game. It was a great game, even though Nalra lost, and I am sad for that.
그렇죠. 네, 명예회복, 찜 승리 해놓을 수도 있습니다. 네, 강민석